Hello, my name is Brian Dunn, and today I'll be talking to you about mass and spree murder, as they seem to be occurring in today's society more now than ever. In this video, I will discuss the difference between the two, the statistics on either, and my thoughts on the topic as a whole. So point 1, the difference between the two. Mass murder is the killing of 3 or more victims in a single ongoing event. Now, those last 2 words are critical because spree murder is the killing of several victims, usually 3 or more, at different locations within a short period of time. So what does that mean exactly? Mass, an example of mass, would be the Pulse killing. The Pulse killings at Pulse nightclub in Orlando. 3 or more victims in a single ongoing event. The example used in the book is of Charles Whitman, the Texas University sniper, who killed 14 people and wounded 30 at the University of Texas in 1966. The thing about that event was he did murder 2 people prior to his killings at the campus, but people usually only talk about the campus side of things. So for the sake of argument, Charles Whitman would be an example of a mass murderer because it was 3 or more victims, 14 specifically in this case, in a single ongoing event until he was shot and killed. The event ending when he was shot and killed by police. Used in the book, the example for spree killers is Andrew Cunanan, who killed from Minneapolis to Miami from April to July in 1997. The different dates that he killed people was usually about 2 or 3 people for either date, sometimes 1. But it was, like I said, it was from April to July of the same year. So that would qualify under a short period of time, even though that may not seem that short. He got to 3 in a short period of time. He went on to kill many others, but he got to the 3 needed for him to be qualified as a spree murderer, going from state to state. So now, point 2, statistics on either type. The UCR, the Uniform Crime Report, put out by the FBI every year, does not specify for each type. So whether that be mass or spree or serial, they don't specify for each type. They only qualify in events of victims with 3 or more. So they don't go into specifics there. It's just kind of the victim count that they go to qualify it as. But going off the same report, the UCR, multiple killings, multiple murders, which is the broader category that both spree and mass murders qualify into. So multiple murderers peaked in 1995 with 152 incidents reported of 3 or more victims in that same year. And the lowest was in 1984 with 85 incidents. So just to throw numbers to give out there to get an idea of where we're at. The book that we go based off of, The Murder Book by Kim Davies, came out in 2006. So numbers aren't exactly accurate, but it gives you an idea of kind of how it's gone up over time, which is a I lost the word. It's a trend. It's a trend that has continued. It's gone up and it's continued to go up. And point 3 being my thoughts on either topic. I think that even if the UCR is to divide and be more specific between mass and spree murders, I think mass is going to hold more numbers than spree, just because, in all honesty, mass murder is easier to pull off than spree. Mass murder is single ongoing event. Remember the difference: single ongoing event versus over a short period of time. For someone to be qualified as a spree murderer and to pull off spree murders is they have to last. They have to they have to outlast law enforcement. They have to outlast maybe civilians getting in the way. They have to outlast all these different things. There's multiple hurdles that they have to go through before they can qualify as a spree killer. Versus a mass murderer, it just has to be all in one go. And we've seen examples of this in recent years with the Mandalay Bay shooting, the most recent Parkland shooting. It's easier for people to get a high victim count in a short amount of time, and then either be arrested by law enforcement or killed by law enforcement or take their own lives, whatever it may be. It's easier for people to be qualified as a mass murderer versus a spree killer. The other thing is too, mass and spree murders are both planned out events. No one just kind of wakes up and just goes off a spur of the moment to kill a group of people. But like I said before, spree is it's on the run. Like Andrew Cunanan, the example used in the book, he was on the run from the law, stealing cars and going from state to state, and so you have to outlast. Whereas mass is kind of not spur of the moment, but it's a right here, right now type of thing. It's not over a course of time. It's not over. It's just right here, right now. This is what's happening. And the other reason why I think that mass would be, if the USAR were to divide it, why mass would be more prevalent than spree murders is because mass murders are discussed way more. Like I said with the examples earlier, Mandalay Bay, Parkland, with many others. Pulse, you have a multitude of examples to pull from, but mass murders are almost always discussed more, and anytime you have an event such as, maybe not event, but anytime you have a tragedy such as Parkland or Mandalay Bay or Pulse, it's all everywhere in the news. That's all the news talks about for weeks, months on end, and this opens up for the opportunity. This opens up for more events to happen afterwards by copycats. Anytime there is a school shooting, you always have an influx of school shooting threats following after it because people copycat. People hear about that event in the news, and then they may think, oh, well now's my time because it's going to get me the attention that I want, or whatever the case may be. It opens up the door for more people to copy that same event. So in conclusion, mass and spree murder are very hot button topics, especially mass murder, are very hot button topics in the news right now just because of how many we've seen over the last few years. But with that being said, while talking about them more opens up the door for copycats, it also opens up the door for us to learn from each event and what we could do better in terms of security, safety, law enforcement, whatever it may be. We're learning more as these events happen, and while they may not ultimately be the best thing in the world, it is important to learn from tragedies to then prevent them in the future. And yeah, that concludes the video, and hopefully it's given you a better understanding of mass and spree murder as a whole.